Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. This is the Price Variance Show, and we're going to do two more shows or movies that are coming up this year. And well, some of them I'm not so sure if they're going to come. It's like one of those things. Will they actually come out this year or not? I don't know. But hopefully they'll come out. Okay. So I'm joined with Mark Alroy, and you can check out his channel. I recommend you check out his channel. And we're going to be talking about two on my channel and two on his channel. So check out his channel after this. Okay, let's get started. Mark, what do you have for us?
Right, so I'm going to be looking at Star Trek for my pick on your channel, Alan, because we have got 3 Star Trek things this year. Coming up in March, we've got Picard Series 2. And we've got the return of Q. So Q is apparently playing quite a big role in Picard Series 2. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think you liked Series 1. I thought it was okay. I think you thought it was a bit too politically correct. So then upcoming in May, June, we have Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which they say they've listened to the fans, and it's based on Captain Pike. So it's a prequel to the original Star Trek. So it's the Captain Pike years in the Enterprise. Because, you know, in the Discovery series, the most popular character was Captain Pike. Because nobody liked Michael, whatever her name was, and
Michael, the woman that is So
they actually went out and listened to the fans, because they did a survey, and sort of 25% of the people said, I quite like the new Star Trek. About 25% said, I don't really like it, but I'm watching it because it's Star Trek. And 50% said, it's horrible. I don't like all this new, what's happened to the hope and the Starfleet morals and everything like that. So over 70% of people didn't like it. So they have theoretically gone back to the drawing books, and it's now going to be episodic. It's not going to be, you have to watch all of them to understand the story. It's going to be more like the original Star Trek, where you've got a beginning, a start, a beginning, and an end in each episode. So I'm quite hopeful for this. We've got a young Spock, because he was on the original Enterprise with Captain Pike, I think he's called. That's coming in June, and we also have a cartoon Star Trek series. I think it's currently appearing on Nickelodeon, called Prodigy. So, having said all that, what books am I going to show? Well, I am, of course, going to show Star Trek #1 from Gold Key Comics. It's there. Mine is a 5.0, and it's signed by Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner. See it. It's quite interesting because about half the copies of this that exist have been signed by William Shatner. There's nearly more signed copies than there is unsigned copies. I bought mine 2 years ago, and I checked up yesterday. Actually, this has doubled in value in 2 years, and I still think it's undervalued. And we're in a bit of a dip at the moment. So a 5.5 sign sold for 2,300 in the peak last year. There's one of these on eBay at 5.0, currently selling for 1.2. So I think this could keep going up. So there you go. That's my first one for Star Trek.
That's a book that I really wanted to upgrade. I have a really beaten up copy.
That's the one where you bought one really early on, wasn't it? And it's really beat up.
It's just really beat up. I bought it I think the guy charged me way too much too. It's like $50 or something like that.
That's where you went to the warehouse, wasn't it? You saw it.
Yeah, I went to the warehouse, and the guy was a jerk. he was like so mean. Oh well. So I paid way too much for that book. Okay, so the one that I'm going to show, and I'm not really sure when this show is coming out. I'm hoping it's this year. I'm not sure if it's this year, but they say it's maybe coming out this year or next year. Is Albedo. Yoga Albedo number 2 is where I was going to say. It's the first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo, and Albedo number 2 is the one that everyone kind of chases after, and it's like a $10,000 plus book. Yeah, so Usagi Yojimbo, and I'll show you what he looks like, is this rabbity guy, and he's going to be in his own show, I think a cartoon series. And I actually saw it. It's kind of like animated. It's not like cartoony. It's more like 3D animation. I saw like a preview that they showed for it. And basically he's like a little samurai rabbit. And he made his first appearance in Albedo number 2, which is, as I said, really, really expensive, hard to find. I have the next best thing, which is his second appearance in Albedo number 3. This is a pretty affordable book, like $200 to $400 range. I mean, I'm saying affordable compared to his first appearance, which is extremely hard to find and really rare. It's just a really rare book.
Yeah.
So this one, I thought it was a pretty great one. A lot of people go for number 4 as well. That's another, $200 book, and it's because he's on the front cover. On the number 3 is on the back cover.
Yeah, that's all right.
So yeah, this is his second appearance. It's a cool book to get. So that's that's my first recommendation. I totally messed up the name of the show, but I meant to say,
Usagi.
Usagi Yojimbo.
And I think it's not Usagi. It's one of his ancestors. I think it's a space Usagi.
Space Usagi. And I'll get into that in a minute.
Okay. Right. So, but second comic I've got to show is one of the comics I think is hugely undervalued. It has gone up a bit in the last year. And it is the first Star Trek comic from Marvel. So the Gold Key series I just showed ran for 61 issues, and it ran up until the first movie. And then Marvel obviously purchased the rights and did a deal with the movie makers, Paramount, I think. And so this is the first Marvel Star Trek. Star Trek number 1 from Marvel. Nice cover. My copy is not signed by William Shatner. It's actually signed by the cover artist. This is a really affordable comic. You can go, I checked this yesterday, you can get a 9.8 of this, not signed, for $180, 9.8. And given that this is really cheap, you think that Star Wars 1, which came out 3 years earlier than this, a 9.8 of that will cost you $5,600. So a 9.8 of this will only cost you $180. I think this is a highly, and to be honest, when I bought this, I paid $100 for it, again, about 18 months ago. So it has gone up from 100 to 180, but I still think it's way, way undervalued.
I think part of the reason for that is the fact that the series did so poorly.
It did poorly. It only ran for 18 issues.
No, not that series. I mean the
the movie series. Discovery.
No,
this is Star Trek. This is the original Star Trek, not Discovery.
I know, I get it. Yeah, I get that. But my point is, anything Star Trek related is kind of going to be based on how successful whatever show is coming out.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
So, a lot of those Star Trek books, like when Next Generations was out, even though it's not the same cast, it's not the same people, not the same stories, they were hot.
Yes.
They were really hot.
Yes.
And then when, that was done, there was a bit of a lull, prices dropped again. But what happened was recently, it seems like every show that they touch with Star Wars, it's like this really woke, really like obnoxious thing. Like Picard Picard is just like, it's like they removed his genitalia, and he's just like terrible in Picard. And then Discovery is like I can't even tolerate it. I watched the first like 2 or 3 episodes, and I was just like I was in that 50%. If there was a more extreme percent, I'd be in that group. So I really didn't like it. So I think a lot of fans felt that way, and that's what kind of killed the prices of the books. But if the books ever, if they ever come out with a good series, that's that would become like $1,000 book. You know what I mean?
Yes, no, I understand. It's about the franchise. Yeah.
I think it'll happen. It's the story idea is so good that eventually it'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to do my little rant there about Star Wars. Okay, so still within Usagi Yojimbo, and I know it's going to be Space Usagi, but I want to show some good. It's kind of weird, even though it's Space Usagi. It's sort of like people are specking more on Usagi in general, like the character. So it's kind of weird that way. So the next one that I have to show is Usagi Yojimbo #1, and this is his first series, where it's titled him. And I think it's a great cover. This book, I actually bought the complete set for $100 like 2 years ago. Now this is like a $200-300 book.
No. In a 9.8, that's now 2,000.
Oh, not 9.8. Yeah, 9.8. It's like 1,000 or something crazy. But yeah, this is in a raw, you can get it pretty cheap. Well, not pretty cheap. I mean, $200-300.
Yeah, and because it's very difficult to get in a 9.8, those colors are not easy to get in a 9.8.
I think this would be like a 9. Like there's no dings or anything, but it's probably a 9.6. I'm just like, it's one of those things where they might kind of docked it for just a bit of a but I think it's a high grade mine. So that's his first solo series. So
one of the advantages of being old like me is I bought that new when it first came out.
Wow. Did you get it slabbed
No,
later,
I sent one off in May last year for slabbing.
Okay.
And I think it's a bit like yours. I don't think it'll get a 9.8, but I'm hoping it's going to get a 9.4 or a 9.6. Yeah, and I've got another one, but the other one's got a bit of color rub on it, so I didn't say.
That kills it. Yeah.
Right. So my third Star Trek is this one, and these are getting really affordable now because, as you say, the franchise has been a bit killed off by Discovery. So this is Marvel only ran, as you said, that series Marvel did only ran to issue 14 and then stopped. And actually then DC picked up the rights to Star Trek. They made more of a go of it. They actually had two series of Star Trek. One ran to issue 56 and the other ran to issue 80. So they did a total of 136, which is a bit better than Marvel's 14. Right, so this is the first DC Star Trek comic. I haven't got this in grade, but I am looking for one. So you can get a 9. This is a George Perez cover as well. Nice. So you can get a 9.8 of this for about $130. So I think it'd be quite nice to get a 9.8 of this signed by George Perez. So I'm actually on the lookout for one of those at the moment. Because again, I think undervalued.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. I don't have that one. I have the other one, but not that one.
Yeah.
Not the DC one.
Not the DC
that's
one.
A really good. Yeah. That's a really good spec, actually.
Yeah, and
even though DC always does worse than Marvel, but
yeah, but if the Star Trek franchise picks up again, then that should improve prices even.
Yeah.
Even though it's DC, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I like that one. I'll probably pick that one up. I'll probably get a raw one. I'm not going to pay $100 for it. Sorry. You can get a raw one for like $5-10, I think.
Yeah, you can. Yes,
so
that you'll pick one up for something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes I buy the slab. Sometimes I will go for the raw just because You can get it slabbed later for like $30, usually about $30. And then you can get that 9.8 for like half the price, basically. So that's kind of my philosophy. I haven't done it yet, but that's my philosophy that I'm hoping to implement someday. So the next one I have to show, just one more Usagi related one, and then I get into Space Usagi, is this one. I think it's you that told me about this one.
Yes, it is.
I believe you told me about this.
I did, yeah.
So this is Doomsday Squad number 3, and this is the first color appearance in a, like, not cover, I mean, but interior.
He's actually on the cover, the top corner.
Well, he's on the cover too, but I meant cover, like, I mean color inside.
Yes, color inside.
Cover, but, he's in color on the cover, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to color story.
Yes.
Okay, so this is Doomsday Squad number 3. This is quite a, it's quite an affordable book. Again, you can pick this up $10 to $20 range. I've seen it, anywhere in there. And it's one that most people don't realize what it is. So it's a good one, I think.
Yeah, that's good spec.
Okay.
Right, now next one you can probably pick up for $1.
Okay, cool.
In fact, I picked one up for £1.99 yesterday, and I'll tell you why. And right, so this is Marvel got back the franchise again from DC. So we're in 1997 now, and Marvel joined up with Paramount and did a sort of joint publication with Marvel and Paramount on it. If you can see up there, we've got the Marvel and Paramount symbol.
Oh, interesting.
Now this one is interesting because it's called Star Trek Early Voyages, and it's about Captain Pike. So it's exactly what the new series is about.
Nice.
Right? Now this is $1 comic. You can pick this up for nothing. But
okay, I'm going to look for that after this.
This is
That's a good one.
This is exactly what the new series is about.
Wow.
It's even got the young Spock on it, and this female character here who's called Number One. So yeah. And
is that Pike on the front there?
Yeah, that's Pike. Yeah, that's Pike. So, I mean, it's not very good. It doesn't look like the actor who's playing him, but yes, that's Pike on the front. Because this was 30 years before he'd been cast.
He probably wasn't even alive.
He looks like he's about 50, so he probably was alive.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I think so. I've not heard anybody else specking on this. I just had it in my collection because I bought a whole load of Star Trek number 1s, which cost nothing. And this one, I think, go and find it for $1. You can, I bet you, if you go to your LCS, they've got a Star Trek box. This will be in there for $1.
Yeah, no, that one is a really good one because it's one where if the series again takes off or even just comes out or has a trailer, people pick up that book. That's the book to pick up, I would say.
Yeah.
And is that the first appearance of Pike in comics? Do you know?
That is a good question. I don't know that because Pike, did he appear in the first?
I don't know if he appeared in the Gold Key one, so that's why
I don't know. Sure. I don't know if he appeared in the Gold or whether he appeared in any of the previous.
Yeah.
40. I don't know. I'd have to check that up. That's a good question, though, and I bet that's actually a very good question. Where is the first comic book appearance of Pike? Because that will be worth picking up. I will go away and do a bit of investigating.
Email me the answer to that. So yeah, that's a cool one. Okay, I'm going to show, do you have any more books after this?
I've got one more.
Okay, so I'm going to show one more, and then I'll show 2 more after that. Okay, obviously we know that the series is going to be about Space Usagi. Okay, so this is Space Usagi number 1. I think it was like a 4-part series.
Yeah.
This is the character that they're going to make the cartoon series about. So this is probably the spec in a way. This is the most affordable of pretty much most of these books because it's not that expensive. It's like I'd say $40 range would be my guess. I paid like 10, back in the day, but it's it's kind of cool. It's his first. It's not his first appearance. It's his first title.
Yeah,
where he's in the title,
yeah.
and it's his first solo series. So, it says 1 of 3, but I thought there was 4 issues.
Well, they do that sometimes. They increase. Don't that happens a number of times where they go 1 of 6, and then they decide to do 7 or 8.
But I could be wrong. I mean, but I thought it was 1 of 4. Yeah, but okay. So I don't have the other ones. I just have number 1.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
So my last one is a really modern one. I picked this up really recently on a Whatnot auction, and I just love the cover. And I think it's really difficult. I think you'll find this very difficult to find. It's a great photo.
Oh, nice. I've seen that one before, and it's really great.
It's really great. And actually, it is a Diamond Retailer Summit variant. So I think the Diamond, who are the distributors, would hold an annual summit for the retailers, and this was produced specifically for the Diamond Retailer Summit event. I have had a look on eBay for this. I cannot find any of these, so I don't know how many they produced, but I guess it wasn't that many. But I think I just love it because it's a really great photo cover of the original team.
See, I think that has more spec value, not for any TV series, not for anything like that, but because Star Trek fans will always love that original series.
Yes.
And having that classic photo cover, I think is kind of like something that they would want to have framed up on a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
They might not love comics. They might not like anything like comic related, but they'll love that cover. So
yeah. So unfortunately, there's only two of the 4 left still alive. So if I did want to get signatures, it would have to be William Shatner and Lieutenant Uhuru.
Yeah, that's a great one though.
Yeah, it's really nice, and I got that on a Whatnot auction for $20. So I think that was quite a good buy.
I think that's a really good deal. I'd say it's probably worth a lot more than that. Just based on the cover, I think it's that's a pure cover buy.
Yeah, and I think they're rare. As I said, I had a good look on eBay yesterday. I couldn't find any currently for sale, and there were none on the sold listings either.
That'd be one I'd like to find. I'm a Star Trek fan, so I'd love to get that one. So, but yeah, okay. So I want to show you my last 2 books for you. Space Usagi. So what they did was they introduced him in like a preview in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So there was kind of like a preview story within Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 46.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So this is like his preview. And this book is actually it's not one that's under the radar. It's people know about it, so it's kind of become a bit expensive. I'd say like $40 to $50, that range would be my guess. Yep. I think I paid 20. So I know it's gone up since I even bought it. So really good one to pick up. So
that's a good one.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 46. And if you want to get what's considered his first full appearance, I always hate that period.
Yeah.
It's one of those annoying things for me. Actually, my copy is not the greatest. It's kind of like I got the 2 together.
Yeah.
So the first one is a little bit
better.
It's a solid one.
Yeah.
And this one's got like a big ding in it. And it's like, it's a little rough. So this is his first full appearance, and this is number 47. So it's just the issue after.
Just the issue, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I actually believe that the Space Usagi that I showed earlier, I think this is his first cover. I'm not sure, but I didn't see him in any other covers. So this might be his first cover appearance as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that is his first cover. I was kind of looking through the issues to see if he, made a cover appearance, and I didn't see one that was earlier. So it's like one of those, maybe some random book has his cover appearance, but I don't know about it, but I didn't see. So those are the 3 Space Usagi ones. So you want to get Space Usagi 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 46 and 47. Those would be the ones that are really related to the show. So
good stuff.
That's it. That's all the ones I'd recommend.
Good stuff. Now, so what do you think about these? Are they going to be hits or misses?
So I think the stories could be great for Space Usagi, but I'm worried about the animation. And it sort of kind of reminds me of Sonic in a way, where when they first released Sonic, the trailer, people like hated the trailer because it didn't look very good. And they ended up having to redo it. They actually ended up having to redo the CGI, or not CGI, but the animation.
Yeah.
And when I saw the preview animation for this, I thought it was a little bit subpar, a little bit not so great. Like just from the images that I just saw stills, so maybe it looks better, but I wasn't overly impressed.
Okay.
It looked a little bit blocky, if that makes sense. It just like not fully like fleshed out. So maybe it's just a rough thing. I don't know, but I think that could be a detractor. I think this is one of those things where I would have rathered that they did it as like a pure cartoon. And I think that would have been much more in keeping with the theme and the feeling of the comics.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's my only concern.
Okay. I mean, my opinion is it's been a hell of a long time in the making.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So they've had a long time to do it. I think it's going to be, my overall guess is it will be a success. My hesitation is that the average man on the street does not know Usagi Yojimbo.
And even more so, do they know Space Usagi Yojimbo? It's like that extra level of like.
Yeah, so they're not going to. It's going to have to work on its own, if you see what I mean. It's not going to get a huge natural audience, so it's going to have to work by itself. So the quality of the animation and the quality of the stories will have to bring in the viewers. It's not. That
was my thought. So that's why, like, I've seen shows where the story is great, but the animation is subpar, and it just turns viewers off.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really always a risk with animation.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, and what about Star Trek?
I'm not too hopeful. Okay, so if the future is female, or the Star Trek is like female, I don't know.
Well, it shouldn't be. They say they've listened to the fans, and they said
that about He-Man too. So I'm always a little bit paranoid. There's just like, people don't maybe realize this, but Star Trek has always been a bit woke.
Yeah,
even
it has.
The originals.
No. Yeah, it has.
Even the originals. But there's I know, like, black woman, that was huge.
Interracial kiss.
Interracial kiss. They had like real diverse cast, and they wanted to show that humanity was all of a sudden united, and that was kind of like this utopian future that they kind of predicted.
Yeah.
And fans love that.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
The problem is when they have it where basically, like, if you look at the Discovery series, Michael, she basically like just trashes any white male. It's just like, if you're a white male, you're less than scum, and that rubs fans the wrong way, because it's not the united group that we want to see. We want to see everyone working together, and
exactly.
So
yeah, and 50% of the fan base is white males.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other are like probably like mostly white females. Like, there's a lot of women that love Star Trek. So I just think it was a big mistake to do that. And I think if they can get that out of their culture in terms of the production, then they can do well. But I'm worried that there's still going to be that woke kind of very agenda driven writer base. And even though they might listen to the fans, they might not really listen.
Yeah, I think it's more because, as you say, from the very start, Star Trek was pretty groundbreaking in terms of political correctness, and there was nothing wrong with that. It worked, and it worked because the story was about optimism. It was about a hero as the captain, which you could all identify with. Yep. And it was about the morals of Starfleet. And that all went out of the window with Discovery, all of it. And then it was about all working together. So I don't have as such a problem with, politically correctness, as long as, we retain, we've got a captain who is a hero, as long as we've got optimism and hope as part of the story. I also like the idea of going back to episodes. So you don't need to watch 10 episodes to follow the story. I want to be able to watch an episode and get a beginning, a middle, and an end in an episode.
Well, I actually prefer the episodes as well, for a different reason. I like the idea of when they do it as a single episode, you can create one story, one like fully fleshed out story that is just like really cool. Like, almost like the old pulp magazines, or, where, it's like science fiction stories. A lot of people that like science fiction, and that's what I liked about Star Trek, they like those story ideas.
Yeah.
Some of the best episodes of Next Generations or the original Star Trek were the ones where it's just a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, that is so cool. And like, like there was like so many episodes where I just really loved it. Like where, they always had some situation where Spock becomes evil. And they had to like pit, Captain Kirk versus Spock. They love to have that situation. And I think some of the stories around that was kind of fun. And like, the one where he goes off, like Spock goes back to his homeland and he's going through that like sexual thing that he's going through, the like, Trout, how they kind of go back to, they go back to their spawning thing. And he has to battle Kirk, it's like that it's like, just a really awesome scene where they're fighting it out. I kind of love that.
Well, they did that in Next Generation as well. They'd use the holodeck and they'd all end up in London in 1920 or something.
And then we could tell like some Sherlock Holmes story or something like that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes was actually that, where Data, he creates a nemesis that's actually better than Data.
Yeah.
And it's like they have to like create a hologram of a hologram, like where it's like this multiple level thing. It's really interesting. So I think that's one thing that they have to embrace about Star Trek fans. They made so many mistakes on that. Star Trek fans are geeks, like true geeks, and they're ones that are like want sort of intelligent stories, not just violence for the sake of violence or sex for the sake of sex or like social justice for the sake of social justice. They want to see something that is something cerebral that can make them think, oh, that's a really cool science fiction. That's a big part.
Yeah.
Cool idea. I mean, it just, there's so many ones that, Next Generations was actually pretty annoying in many episodes, but when they recognized what was the core of Star Trek, they did well. Just Discovery just gave all that up and went total, like ignored the things that actually made Star Trek work. And that's my biggest gripe, I guess.
Well, fingers crossed. As a Trekkie, I hope they get it right.
Me too. Yeah. I was actually more of a fan of Star Trek than of Star Wars.
Oh, me too. I'm still more of a Trekkie than, I'd still, because of the original series. I mean, it's embedded in my DNA. They were being aired. The first series was being aired when I was in my early teens, so it's it's built into my brain. It's like you always like the music from when you were in your teenage years.
Yeah.
Well, so I was watching Star Trek a long time before Star Wars ever appeared.
Yeah. Me too. So, yeah, I sort of, I grew up watching Star Trek. It was one of those shows that they played almost every day. So I watched it literally every day. And I would watch the same episode like 10 times, you know what I mean? Like, so I'd have it all memorized and stuff. And I like Star Trek so much. Hopefully I'm just hoping they can bring it back. That's my sincere hope.
Well, they're making the right noises.
Okay. Yeah, they said that about Picard too, by the way. They said that they listened to the fans with Picard, and I don't think so. I don't think they did.
I think you're a bit hard on Picard. I did quite actually enjoy the first series. It wasn't great, but it was watchable. Whereas Discovery, I just, like you, stopped watching it because
it's too painful. Yeah. It was sort of like for me, I found a lot of those shows kind of remind me of the way He-Man was. Like He-Man, like it's like they hate the fans. It feels like that because it's like they kill He-Man. Like
what they're doing is they're making the program for the 4.5% LBGT. Well, you can't make programs for 4.5% of your audience and alienate. Well, actually, it's even less.
The real percentages are even less than that. That's like I actually know all this research about that. It's like 2%, and that's like 2%, and then it's just a really small number of people that fit in that demographic. Nowadays, they try to push it where like actually the numbers of non-binary blah 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 and all those things are really high, but that's just because people have been indoctrinated. But I think we got to go back to some semblance of normality. People are just too crazy nowadays.
And I think it's about telling a story. Tell a story. Tell me a story that's going to interest me and engage my brain and has got a middle, a beginning, a middle, and an end. I can pick up. I can go and watch an original series Star Trek episode, and I'll. It doesn't matter that I haven't watched the previous 3 or the next 3. I'll be able to watch it, and there'll be a full story in it. Go and pick up an episode of Discovery. You haven't got a clue what's going on.
Yeah, because there's like so many things that you should have known in order to watch that one episode.
Yeah.
I actually showed my kids the very first released episode of Star Trek, which was actually the one with the salt monster.
Yeah.
Where she like sucks on like little suction cups and stuff, which is not a great episode, actually. It's not the best episode. But I showed that to my kids when they were really young, and they loved it. They were going around like trying to like suck people's brains and stuff. And I think there's that kind of cool, fun story in there. Like, and actually that episode, even though I don't think it was particularly one of the better episodes, it would stack up as being one of the best episodes if it was released now. So that's a pretty bad level. So okay, that's enough of a rant about how bad new Star Trek is. But okay, so thanks for coming on for this first half of the show. I'm going to join you on your channel now, and we'll do two more cool things. So thanks again. Bye for now.
Thanks, Alan.